Ryan Weathers probably means bleh to the average Yankee fan. But like, I talked to a lot of teams, and the sense I got was like 8 to 10 teams were trying to get Ryan Weathers. That Ryan Weather. So this is my comparison. I'm going to make a comparison, and this didn't work in New York, but it ultimately worked. To me, Ryan Weathers is a little bit like when the Yankees traded for Nathan Eovaldi.
Hmm.
Like with the Marlins, same age, had injury problems. The stuff was overt, like it is with Weathers. And he, between injury and maybe not being ready, it never worked with the Yankees. But the second he left the Yankees, Nathan Valdi's had one of those careers I would love to have because people talk about Nate. First of all, he's won championships, and he's won championships in part because he's been great at that time of year. Like I couldn't live with never having that moment. So he's been good in those situations. Talk to people about him in the clubhouse, including guys who played with him in the Yankees, Red Sox, wherever he's been, Rangers. I mean, this is a beloved teammate, right? So like Avaldi just exploded out of here and had great success. And his people are going to look back on a non-Hall of Fame career and say, man, what a career that guy had. Like, so that, and he's made plenty of money doing it also.
Yeah.
So will it work for, it might not be like that, but it's almost the exact same age. It's the same exact organization trading him the player here. And the profile, the one was lefty and Avaldi is righty. The profile is, God, they have stuff that's untapped. And I have talked to people who have worked with Weathers, and they're like, it is so untapped and he's coming. Now, will it come here? Will it ever come anywhere? I don't know. But this guy was a top 10 draft choice, right? Like, it's not like whatever. There is a not 0% chance that this guy starts a playoff game.
Wow.
So, like, I know you could look at the ERA, etc. What I would say are the number of what I would call the smart organizations who I checked in with, and they were like, yeah, we were trying to get him. Like, was not a low number.
And it
So
wasn't
like,
nothing that the
look,
Yankees gave up. It was three prospects. I mean,
yeah,
that's a
well,
lot of
we'll see.
prospect pool to give up.
We'll see what it turns into along the way. You know, again, like the day the Yankees traded with the Marlins and got Domingo Herman and Michael King in the same
Mm,
trade. Nobody like who was a fan said, "Wow, this is really going to make a difference." And like things went wrong with Herman, but he did pitch well. He pitched a perfect
it's a
game,
perfect
right?
game.
And had other good moments. And Michael King obviously was very good. So it's not sexy, but I the the off season is a strange beast. Is a strange beast. Last year, the only free agent of any significance, the only addition of any significance the Mariners made was Jorge Polanco, and they went further than they've ever gone. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays did a ton of stuff. It almost all went wrong. Anthony Santander, Andres Jimenez, Hoffman, Yimi Garcia, trading for Miles Straw to get extra money for Roki Sasaki and then not getting Sasaki and being stuck with Straw.
Mm.
Like it all went wrong. And they got the closest you could get to winning a World Series without actually winning the World Series. By the way, you know who had a shit offseason last year? The Dodgers. The Dodgers had terrible Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates, Michael Conforto. Like they had a terrible offseason. Sasaki wasn't what they thought
No.
they were getting. Like none of it really worked. And they won the World Series. And so I know we layer on stuff, and part of our job is like, hey man, go do it. Let's see something, famous names, etc. Uh, you could be surprised by, hey man, that team won the offseason. How many times has the team that won the offseason actually won the season? It's not regular. It was true the year before. The Dodgers got Otani and Yamamoto, right? But it's not always that way.
Nope. And it does look like the Dodgers are going there again with the Tucker and Edwin Diaz and whatnot. But look, Joel, the starting rotation, I think, and Weathers, it's a huge factor here. Real quick on Weathers, do you think he will be the start? Like he'll be in the rotation opening day? Like he'll
I
be
think
one of their
I think
starters? Yeah.
yeah, I think if healthy, like I think Blackburn and Yarborough are here to be swingmen.
Mm.
Like and place fillers until and if Rodon and Cole get healthy.
Right.
And, like I think they know they need extra because how much are they going to get out of Schlittler in year two? How much are they going to get out of Warren after pitching him so much last year? Fried went beyond where he's ever pitched before, and Luis Gil is hurt a lot. So, like, the idea of so you got those four guys plus Weathers plus Blackburn and Yarborough.
Yarbrough.
Is that seven or eight? I'm losing count. Whatever
That's
it is.
seven right there.
That's seven. I think, again, these things get corrupted as you go along. I think if you put the Yankees on Truth Serum today, they'd say Rodon May 1st, Cole June 1st, Schmidt August 1st. Like that would be like the hope. They believe Elmer Cruz will pitch in the majors this year. Like and be a guy. And LaGrange is a guy who, if you hit the right analytics guy, scouting guy from another team, somebody high level talent evaluator, one guy will tell you, hey man, if it worked out perfect, he's going to pitch the eighth or ninth inning. And then there's other guys who say if it works out perfect, he's probably starting game two of the playoffs. So like, and by the way, there'll be people who are like, I hate that profile. He's going to be nothing. So, like, he is a wild card in all of
The
this.
wide variance right there you just laid out, Joe.
Yeah. But that's the prospect world. Like you would have asked the Phillies 2 years ago about Andrew Painter. They would have said, well, he's probably going to start opening day in 2026. And now there's a lot of doubt.
They're still waiting on him to come out, though, right? Like, and be
Grayson Rodriguez got traded this offseason for Taylor Ward. Like 2 years ago, if I would have told you that's a trade that was going to be made. So like they're all just suspects until we actually see them do anything. But you know what? If as suspects go, I would roll the dice that Schlittler is like answered some of the questions and look like he can be somebody. Will he be?
We'll see. This is his first.
Trying to build some depth just in case. No.
Yeah, look, and I hear you. Like the Yankees that's how they would pencil it in right now. But you can only pencil it in so much, and we've seen how these guys go when they're recovering from injuries, especially major surgeries like this. I think you're playing a really dicey game here, and you're gambling a lot on those guys coming back on those marks that you've set.
You know something, Ryan? I'm sorry, I cut you off there, but last year I kept expecting the Yankees to collapse.
Yes.
Because they were always one pitching injury away from utter
Alan Winans. Yeah. And then what else?
and somehow they kept it together long enough as guys came back and whatever. I actually think they go in with more potential this year, high-end potential this year than last year. And I don't think it's close. And there is, you do have to, the likelihood that you'll ever have all your starters healthy at one time is not great.
Yeah.
Problem is, if you do, like it isn't like they're going to get a commissioner's dispensation to be like, oh, you could carry 16 pitchers this year. So you can't overstuff the burrito to the point where you can't have them all on your roster.
Stuff the burrito. That's a good one.
You know what I mean? Is like they'll get a 40-man roster spot right away by putting Schmidt on the 60-day IL on, I think it's the second day of spring training.
Wouldn't Cole go on 60-day IL as well?
So the question is, if Cole goes on, you'll know that it's June 1st.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm sure Cole is maybe saying,
I mean, his mindset, but of course he's a bulldog.
Yeah. And when I've talked to Yankee people in recent weeks and I've said, hey, would you follow a plan a little bit like the Ohtani plan last year, which was, look, the Dodgers considered using Ohtani out of the bullpen in 2024 in the postseason. Okay. So when spring training 2025 came and I watched him throw a bullpen, I was like, that guy could start a game. Right. And they held him for until about June also, right? Yeah. Mid-May, June, whatever, because they were like, we're going to make the playoffs and we have to factor in 20 postseason innings for him. And so I said, would you do the same with Cole? If you said, hey, coming back from Tommy John, we feel comfortable at 130 innings or 140 innings. Would you say then, well, what we really mean is 120 and 20? And they said, when Cole is ready to pitch in the major leagues, he will pitch. So in other words, that's what they insist to me. Now, underneath, are they doing something else? I don't know. But when I've asked, that's what they say. I think the Yankees have a chance to have very, very good starting pitching. But the, the the variance for them might be the greatest variance because two of their, or even if you want to include Schmidt, who I think is pretty good, like a good mid-rotation guy, three of their guys could combine to be really good or give them 0 innings this year.
0 innings. Yeah. And
Right.
then
Or not very, or innings, but not as good as you think based on the names because it's going to be a year until Cole is Cole
yeah,
again, if he's ever going to be Cole. So I get it, but you have just as your resources are your resources as far as how much money and farm system do you have to do anything. And I think the Yankees are, for better or worse, close to where they're not going to spend a lot of money anymore this offseason unless it's Bellinger. And I think that they feel blown away that they did as much as they did last July and got Ryan Weathers, and they still haven't touched what I think they would say are their top 8 prospects.